vegan or ketotarian. Now, the ketotarian is exactly what it sounds like. Perfect. It is a ketogenic diet that is vegan, which means that it's a high fat, low carb diet, which is pretty hard to do. I've only seen one person who can actually do it, and he has a book. I think I have it listed here. Anyway, we'll get to that. All right, so the goal here is to reduce the burden on the environment of commercially processed prepared animal products. Typically, they're fed GMO grains, which means I know that I am testing positive right now for antibiotics for eating regular chicken. So I understand. So I'm having to really up my organic chicken to try to get rid of the antibiotics that they feed the animal lots. Or grass-fed organic meat you're okay with, but if you don't feel good about that with the hormones, the antibiotics, everything else, you can do a vegan type diet. Again, it didn't work for me. I tried it. Anyway, all right. So the do's to reduce the toxic burden, eat all organic plant food, especially fruits and vegetables, including roots, fermented legumes, nuts, nut butters, milk, seeds, seaweed, organic fermented soy. Got to be organic fermented soy. Otherwise, you'll have problems with it. Okay. And then let's see here. Don'ts, all animal products, eggs, milk, meat, fish, gelatins, processed packaged foods. Some choose to eliminate glutens as well. They call this clean vegan when you eliminate all of the processed things like the cakes and cookies and pastas and things like that. You'd have to eliminate that for the ketotarian. But some people choose on a vegan diet to eliminate all that processed stuff because it's processed. It's processed. So it's going to be high in
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of things you don't want. All right, so difficulty is staying
Yeah.
organic, non-GMO, and dairy-free. They sneak stuff into all sorts of different, if you're buying any kind of packaged foods, they sneak stuff in all the time. So common struggles to be able
Mm-hmm.
to do this diet is getting enough protein to maintain your muscle mass and development. You can do pea proteins, hemp powders can help with upping your protein content. I know that people that I have worked with on this is I have them make themselves a smoothie with their salad so that they can make
Mm-hmm.
sure they're getting enough protein in and then putting lots of sunflower seeds and other nuts onto their salads, etc., to make sure they're getting all that difficulty in there. Other nutrient deficiencies that tend to be high in among vegans, there is no natural form of B12 except for algae. So you have to buy it
Oh,
in a
really?
supplement form. Zinc is, you have to, if you're not getting enough vegetables, you're going to have trouble with zinc. Calcium absorption, most of the calcium in plants is not very bioavailable. And of course, omega 3s, again, algae is another place where you can get omega 3s that are going to be non-animal. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So now, higher intake of anti-nutrients a lot of times can be a problem because there's phytic acids and lectins. High carbs can be problematic for different people, especially, I don't know, they say that a vegan diet is good for diabetes, but I'm having
Mm-hmm.
a real hard time processing that because unless you're going to do a ketotarian, if you're going to do a dirty vegan with all that processed pastas, breads, etc., that are all so-called vegan, I think you're going to have trouble with your diabetes with that still. All right, so the
Mm-hmm.
benefits here is that, of course, it's good for weight management, heart health, reduce the risk of metabolic syndrome in some. That's metabolic syndrome is what leads to diabetes and heart disease. High antioxidant intake with huge amounts. You're eating like 20 cups of vegetables a day on this diet. Improve your gut health because you're getting lots of fiber. When carefully planned, can be healthy for most people. But again, the term I used earlier, you'll know if it's not for you because you'll be hangry, which is the term which means you're angry and hungry all the time. So that's
Yeah.
what I experienced for myself. All right, now the very
Mm-hmm.
end of this presentation, again, I think she's going to put this presentation on the bottom for everybody. The real process here is, what do all of these diets have in common? You don't want to do any one. you can actually focus on what they all have in common, which is all can improve your health and weight, including Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, no processed packaged food, industrial oils. That's something they all go with. No alcohol and no or limited gluten or dairy. All organic, high vegetables, and fermented foods are things that they all have, and then all of them have different things that they want you to supplement with. So if you do just those things instead of following one particular diet, if you just focus on that, it may be all you need to get to wherever your health condition is. But it all depends. And again, you can go to reintroductions and different types of diets once you reverse your chronic conditions.
Hmm.
Now, some people are probably saying right now, what about some of these other diets that I've heard of? And I want to go through a little bit of who they're for.
Yeah.
So they're basically tweaks to one of the current above diets. So low FODMAPs, SCD diets are good for IBS, Crohn's, UC, which is ulcerative colitis, and SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Low phenols diet is good for lupus. Low oxalate diets because you can get some forms of arthritis and gout from having too much oxalates in your diet. Low silicate, glutamate, GAPS diets are good for autism, ADHD. Links are there. Low histamine for too many food sensitivities. If you've gotten to a point where you have so many food uh, allergies that you can't eat except for 5 foods in your life, then the low histamine diet is the place to go for that. Other diets, there's
What
the
would
body. I'm sorry.
just on for the low histamine diet, like what would that be? Like what types of foods would you try to avoid for that?
Well, not my specialty, but it's for overactive immune system. So histamines, you think about when you get allergies, you take an antihistamine to take down the histamine. So it's an immune response that causes all these reactions. So a low histamine diet is you're going to take out the foods that tend to cause an immune response. So I know that
Okay.
some people have issues with different, I can't even, I'm drawing a blank on what kind of foods. But anyway, um, something that people can look up if they want to, I guess. So let's see here. But allergies, I mean, your typical food allergies, some people have strawberries, somebody have peanuts. Those are histamine, high histamine foods.
Hmm.
Anyway, so now the rest of it here, we have the body ecology, candida, and SIFO diets, which are all part of a low carb for fungal overgrowth, common in diabetes and after antibiotics. Most people don't realize that taking antibiotics without taking an antifungal or without limiting your sugar, you can bloom candida and have a SIFO, which is a small intestinal fungal overgrowth, because the antibiotics take away the good bacteria that actually keep you from getting it. Because antibiotics kill everything. So you have to re-inoculate, you have to do a proper diet and everything else. Microbiome diet is another one too, and that's basically trying to heal leaky gut and IBS. Again, there's an overlap there. So anyway, basically whatever I know for myself with 15 different conditions, 10 years ago, 5 years to live, it was a problem for me. And, I didn't remember what it felt like to feel good until I changed my diet. And all of a sudden, it's like all my conditions went away. And it was like, I didn't know I could be this happy and have this much energy and feel this good. I didn't
Hmm.
know because I had been sick for so long for most of my life. So, this is where you start. When you change something, see how you feel. If you don't feel any different, maybe that's not your issue. It's like something that I really liked in one of the Marvel movies where Iron Man says, what am I can't shake these guys off my tail. And the Hawkeye says, well, they can't corner for so he said, okay. So he started cornering more and started crashing and goes, oh, what else have you got? And it was like ding ding. It's like I just keep, until I reach my goals, until I get where I want to go, I'm just going to keep trying new things, try adding this, try adding this. It's called the 36 hole theory. So that if you have 36, you have 36 holes, you keep plugging them till you figure out which one is sinking your ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep
Yeah.
trying. So I eliminated like all of my household cleaners and my laundry soap. I went all natural with those things, and my shampoo and conditioner and my skincare products and all that stuff. I just switched over to the healthier
Mm-hmm.
stuff to see if it made any difference. So, it's an always a journey. It's always going to be a journey for however long you want to do it. So how good can I feel? That's the goal. And I find a why. The only way to stick to this stuff is to have a strong why. For me, my why was I don't want to die. That's a pretty strong why. I don't want to
Yeah.
feel this way. I don't want to continue with this. I want to get my life back. I want to play with my grandkids, my grandkids. I want to see my grandkids get married. I want to be there for them for I want to, so, you have to find your why of why you're going to do it. And every time you look at the fridge and you go, I can't. Anyway, well, nothing should be in your fridge that you can't have anyway. You should eliminate all of it. It's called a pantry purge and a fridge purge. But getting rid of all that stuff. But I know from my house, my husband does not eat the way that I eat. He doesn't want to eat the way that I eat. So I
Mm-hmm.
fixed two different meals for every meal. His way, my way. And if that's what I have to do to live, then that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Any questions?
Um, yeah, well, so I was wondering if you would like to share a bit about like which diet helped you the most when you were going on your personal health journey.
Well, here's what I did. Being a scientist, I wanted to do an experiment on myself because all this stuff was not taught. I learned the old food pyramid, which was totally toxic to me. And so I looked at it and I went, wow, all this information I'm finding online for all these therapeutic diets, it goes against everything I ever learned in my college classes. And so I said, okay, only one way to find out. I'm going to try. So I went gluten free. And lo and behold, 30 days, I had lost 20 pounds. And I'm like, ooh,
Wow.
what else can I do? Okay, so didn't think that was true, but I went ahead and I did it. And then, because I was buying gluten-free bread, gluten-free muffins, gluten-free pasta, everything else. And so it's like, okay, what's next on the research list? It's like, okay, some people have reactions to all grains because they all have a form of gluten in them. Let's find out. So I eliminated all of my grains and I lost 20 pounds in 60 days and again started to reverse out all my conditions. My arthritis and my allergies and my asthma were all gone in the first 30 days. That was weird.
Wow.
And then I
Mm-hmm.
started losing other things as I went further along. So then after I waited 30 days between each shift to see whether or not I had plateaued off. And then the next thing was I went to keto to do the low carb and I lost 20 more pounds in 60 days, plateaued for 30 days, and said, the only thing left is dairy. It's my favorite food in the whole wide world. There's nothing better than cheesecake and melted cheese, and I don't want to give it up. But okay, what can I do? So I started buying vegan cheese. I read the ingredient list to make sure they didn't have anything in it that I couldn't have. Unfortunately, all those companies have now changed their ingredient list, and I can't eat any of them. So I make my
Oh,
own now.
really?
But yeah, they added oat milk to it, and I can't have oats
Mm-hmm.
because oats have gluten in them. Anyway, so I went dairy free by using the vegan cheeses and such and the alternatives, and I lost 30 more pounds in 60 days and reversed everything. So at that point, 15 different conditions had completely reversed, including diabetes, including arthritis, chronic kidney disease. That was one that was for the books because they tell you on a kidney friendly diet that you're supposed to reduce your protein intake. And you know what? I didn't. I increased my protein intake and I still reversed my chronic kidney disease. And I've maintained that now for over a decade. So it's interesting, or about a decade now at this point, but it's interesting how, everything, I mean, my cholesterol went down, my arthritis went away. I mean, so many things. My candida, cured itself. I had all sorts of other things. Chronic, let's see here, chronic fatigue. I was tired all the time, just could not do anything about energy. Now I'm like an absolute spaz. It's pretty funny. So I just have endless amounts of energy all day long, and my brain is sharper than it's ever been. No more brain fog. That was another thing that went. Let's see here.
That's good.
Depression, anxiety, panic attacks all went away.
Mm.
But that also had to do with EMF exposure because I was starting to have panic attacks. I'm a former school teacher. I was having panic attacks pretty much by the end of every day at school. And
Oh wow.
I started hearing this buzzing noise, and so I followed it, and I found the Wi-Fi router was in my room for my entire building, and I unplugged it. The buzzing stopped, and the panic attack stopped almost instantly.
Really?
So now, because now that I know that I'm EMF sensitive and Wi-Fi sensitive, I have my Wi-Fi here at home on a timer so that it goes off every night and comes on every morning, and now I can sleep. So again, what else can I do?